Well, it's springtime, so things have moved around. The lemon lime tree is outside, the Norfolk has taken its place, and the switchable ballast is burnt out. So we were having some problems with the pineapple swordtail male being a bit aggressive, and I think I had too many fish in the tank because our ammonia levels were spiking on the regular and changing filters and water and all that kind of stuff too much. So I took all the platies, well, most of them, all the ones I could catch. You see there's a couple still left in there, and they got themselves their own tank. So there is my platy breeder. It's a 40-gallon breeder. Live fish. There's Mr. Swordtail. He should be able to breed now. He was getting confused in the other tank with the guppies. He was trying to mate with a guppy all the time. Although they are a little more closely akin to one another, with the swordtail's body shape being more guppy-like, they are not capable of breeding together, but they are capable of breeding with the platy. So hopefully this guy gets interested in these females, because they weren't interesting enough while they were all together in the large 75. So now I got a friend who brings me these rocks when he goes hiking in the creeks. He finds these great rocks. It's got a huge cavern in there. There are already a couple females made at home, but it's a really cool one. And then this one's actually an arch, but I shoved the Java moss in there so it'll stay in one spot. It's up against the window, it gets plenty of light, and it'll keep growing there. Should be just fine. But I use the under gravel filters. Some people don't use them. They say nowadays there's no need, you can do whatever, but when a planted tank, it helps keep all of the fish debris down into the gravel. Like when the fish waste is released, there is a current that kind of pulls down. And as long as your gravel is clean, and unlike the gravel in this tank, which has been in there for 2.5 years, I do sift through it with a gravel cleaning hose. You see here, I got one of these guys. But that doesn't always, with all the fish I have, probably had close to 150 fish in there. It just too much ammonia. So you can kind of see there's a yellow tint to the water here. I've got it treated so that the ammonia should be detoxified, but in a couple of days, now that I've removed all these fish from that tank, it should filter itself out and the water will turn a little blue. I might do a little bit of a water change. In fact, I might switch water from this tank, take 5 gallons out of this tank and put it in that tank, and then take that 5 gallons and put it in here. And what that does is helps the micro biologicals in this tank get started, since this is a brand new tank. The tank itself was old. I borrowed it from a friend, but it needed to be cleaned, so I used ammonia, cleaned it all up, and then purchased new underground filter, a new also canister filter. I don't just use the under gravel, I also use a canister on both of these. On the big one here, I have an oversized 1,000 filter for a 75-gallon tank. It's meant for 100 to 150 gallons, but I figured with all the fish in there, I needed the extra power, and it sure did come in handy. But even then, I was able to overwhelm it with too many fish, because these guys really like the natural tank, the living grass, and the Java moss, and the other plants I have in here, and it just, I don't know, they go crazy. I feel like they breed once a month. I have a new crop of babies at least. Same with the guppies. Of course, with the guppies, I can entice them to do that by using the thunderstorm setting on the light there. That'll get them to pop out a new batch of babies within a day or two. Guppies giving live birth, and they can actually stay pregnant. They can actually the females can hold sperm and choose when to impregnate themselves. I think for several years, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that's right, but it seems like it. Always hear the story about going to the fish store, bringing home a female guppy, and then the next morning you wake up and, oh, look at all the little babies you got floating around in your tank because the one you brought home just gave birth. They like to do that. So anyway, there's the update. I've probably at some point soon, 2.5 years now this tank has been alive, I'm gonna use this tank to transfer all the fish over for one day, do a real thorough gravel cleaning, and thin out the plant life a little bit, and then set it back up. So there you go, there's the update. There's the new tank, which is brand new right now, that'll all grow in real nice. And I hope at some point to even get a third one if my wife will let me, because I really am curious to see if I can get these neon tetras to breed, because I've seen them going for it. And I've seen the flourish of egg release and all that kind of stuff, but I think the guppies, and especially the platies, just find them in the gravel and eat them up and keep them from being fertilized, because they have to do that. They have to lay them in the gravel and then they guard them for a period of time and then they hatch. So a little more difficult than the live birth that the guppies and the platies do, which Phyllis Java moss becomes a really good habitat for that. They even, you can see lots of babies. They even carve out little rooms to hang out in and create little nurseries. It's architectural they're building. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but they do. They build little holes in the Java moss, and then they protect their young. And it's crazy. Who would have thought fish were so family oriented, kind of behavioral? I don't know. I'm no animal psychiatrist. I'm sure there's a word there for a study of that, but eludes me at this moment. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully I can catch these guys and get them over there. Pretty sunset. That's a sunset cross with a Mickey Mouse. This is beautiful. He, I think it's a he. Looks a lot like a he. Anyway, here's a couple more. Yeah, it's definitely a female there. Plump, ready to get over into the other tank. So, yeah, no matter. Oh, whoa, there's a dying guppy right there. Having a problem with ick. So, part of the reason why I'm thinning him out. Anyway, happy fishing.